Monday. This is your host and the owner of the Stay True podcast. You are today, this afternoon, tonight, wherever you're tuning in from. This is the last episode 110 of 2022. I think I said too many twos, didn't I? 2022, you all, because this for the rest of the week, up until the second week of January, I am taking a break. And so you all will definitely know when I come back. Today we are going to be talking about effective communication and love because I know we did our last three live episodes that is still uploaded on all platforms. Actually, to view the last three episodes live, you have to go to YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter to view the last three live episodes because we're actually on EP 110. And this is going to be the last live episode. And so, and then we still have a lot more recorded ones that actually has been released, and the ones that you all have not been able to check out or catch. They're on all podcast platforms as well, but the live episodes will be um, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So we are talking about effective communication and love. Um, First of all, I just want to say thanks to my Wisdom family, which is over here, and then YouTube family, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Leave your comments. Um, Usually sometimes we have guests and co-hosts that comes up and request to share information on wisdom. Wisdom has been a definitely has been a great asset to me in this past year. When before they started out, they actually sent me an email to join as a top mentor. And so there are other great mentors too, as well, on the Wisdom app. So if you have not joined the Wisdom app, feel free to do so. And maybe you are great at what you do, and you're passionate about and you're confident about what you do and you're confident about people. So go ahead and check out the Wisdom app and join as well. And so we have actually talked about a lot of conversations on all platforms. And again, I've had guests and co-hosts come from the Wisdom app, and then I've had friends of friends also to come and do a guest appearance, or other professional coaches and other entrepreneurs. They have been a part of the Stay True podcast on this year. So I've been very grateful. We are in season 3, you all, and this is episode 110. So this is the last live episode, and I'm just very grateful for everything that has went forth so far. I'm very grateful for um, the progress, and I'm very thankful for the process of the Stay True podcast. We started out as women. Women coaching dreams, women committed to dreams. We started out as women committed to dreams, which is our brand coaching logo, and then we rebranded to the Stay True podcast. And so, Stay True podcast is still um, a motto and motivation of um, my coaching brand. So, which is WCD Coaching Incorporated. And so, having to do 3 seasons has been very awesome. It's been very fun. Has been tiring at some, and it's been some challenges. Of course, with everything, there's been challenges, but I would not take it back for anything. I'm very grateful for the podcast because we get to have a lot of conversations. We get to meet new people and we get to help people. So that's what I love about it. But let's talk about effective communication, you all. I just want to say lately I've been on this love journey. Yes, I've been on this love journey. Been talking about relationships lately, and we just been talking about life too, as well as in general. And lately, um, I've just been having my heart poured with just speaking upon healthy relationships, unhealthy relationships, um, things that all of us need to do as far as how to show up and how to show up strong, how to show up effectively when we're building relationships. When we build different types of relationship, we got to know how to create a healthy boundary relationship. And we have to make sure that we are healed through the process of building a foundational relationship with each other, and it's important. So yes, I've been on this love journey, and I hope you all get on this love journey train with me as well. So we're going to conclude, and again, we going to discuss about effective communication. What does I know we always talk about how communication is communication. That's having conversation and talking with one another. And when you're talking with someone, of course, you're listening. You're listening so you can give a response. And so when someone is communicating with you, one or the other has to listen, right? And sometimes we don't listen well. That's another part to communication is listening, and how you listen to the conversation and how effective you have listened to the conversation as well. So it's just not effective communication, it's also effective listening to one another, right? So we talk about how we want to be better at communicating in relationships and how we want to be better with one another. But sometimes we're not always a good communicator. Sometimes we're not always a good listener. So I'm a person that I at first I did not start off listening well, but because I love communicating and talking with people, that's something that I grasp on because I want to be able to pay attention. And remember, you all, my last couple of episodes and videos, I shared how we have to. It's important for us to pay attention to one another. Um, and I listen well because I love communicating and I love sharing thoughts with one another. If I'm sharing thoughts with one another or I'm communicating with someone, I want them to be able to pay attention to me and listen to me effectively as well. Because if I'm pouring out my heart and I'm sharing vital information that is value to me, and I feel and I know and I see that you are not listening, and then it throws the communication off, right? You get frustrated, you get upset, and you're like, okay, I just poured out all this information and I just trusted and confided this person with all this information and they're really not listening. Sometimes we tend to say, oh, they're not getting it. The reason why they're not getting it is because they was not listening in the first place, or they was not using effective or listening or having what they say listening ears on. Your listening ears was not turned on because basically you were zoned out. Either you have no desire to listen to the conversation, either you have no desire to talk to the person, or you just don't, or you may be going through something you just don't want to be bothered. Or you just was like, okay, I'm here, but then I'm not here. You know how they say, well, I'm here listening, but I'm really not here. And the thing about it is, when we communicate with one another, um, we sometimes we're also scared to communicate. You know how when we're having a conversation, and this is in all types of relationships, when we're having a conversation with someone in love, and it's something important and something vital that we want to share. Sometimes we go around the circle, we go around the circle and beat around the bush because we don't want to really share our true feelings. And we talked about feelings and emotions too on the podcast in the past. And I think it's something that we need to continue to talk about. It's something that we need to continue to grasp hold on because we deal with, I don't know if I'm going to be rejected. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know if they're going to be mad and upset with me when I say this. When you love a person from the inside out and you care about their well-being, you are going to have to express your feelings, whether you feel like it's going to hurt that person. And sometimes when we express our feelings in effective communication, it's not going to always be good things that we may not say, and it may not be bad things, it's just going to be creative criticism. I talked about that too, how we have to learn to accept creative criticism. If someone tell me, well, Karen, I think you could do more of this, or Karen, I feel like you are doing this instead of this, I may not 100% agree, but I'm listening. And then I will take a look and I will think back to myself, and I have to I look at myself from day to day, and I could be like, wow, he or she is telling the truth. I accept that and I receive that. And sometimes we may not agree. And I would say sometimes we may not agree with creative criticism because we have not seen that quality, or we have not seen that habit in ourselves because we don't want to see it. Because I've been there. I know some of you all have been there, but sometimes we don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? On ourselves. We don't want to see that habit, or we don't want to go back to that trail and say, yeah, I have done that a couple times. So it's not that a person is telling you to be offensive, but there's going to be some things that may just hit home, and it may hit hard to you, but you're going to know that it's going to be some truth to it, or not some truth, all of the truth, but you are listening. And then you're thinking back, like I said, then you're thinking back, okay, from a day to day perspective, um, is there a pattern in this or what I've done? So creative criticism in communication, when you're talking to somebody in love, they want to know that they can receive what you're saying to them in love too. That's the other thing. The receiver, the other person on the other hand, they have to know that you are coming to them in love. They have to know that you you are effectively communicating in love, not just effectively communicating, but also communicating in love and with love, and knowing, okay, this person, I know this person really love me. I know this person really care about me. But these are some of the habits, and these are some of the qualities that they're saying that I have, or that I can improve on, or some things that I shouldn't do, or vice versa. And you have to let that marinate. I think sometimes when we have detailed and important and serious conversations with our loved ones and one another, we don't let the conversation marinate. We run with things and make assumptions, and we'll say, "Y'all, I'm telling on myself. I'm a witness. I've been there and I've done that." But as I grew and matured, and as I continue to grasp onto wisdom, I had to learn different things and certain things about myself. And we have to let things marinate on us, and we have to really take a seat back, take some time to ourselves, quiet times, and be like, and examine yourself, because most times we don't want to examine ourselves. But it's important and that it's valuable for us to examine ourselves. It really is. Um, and that's how I learned to marinate. And I remember sharing with you all too on the podcast previously that I had a dream that my loved one, and this was a spouse, and of course, I didn't, of course, I couldn't see the spouse, or I didn't, know the spouse, because when you're dreaming about, a future spouse, you don't know who that person is. And I knew in the dream it was a loved one, and I shared this before, and the person was actually sharing some things about myself, and the person was like, well, can I tell you the truth? When I say, you all, I remember this dream so profound, like it was yesterday. This was a dream I had back in 2013, 2014, and it may even been sooner, but I think it was around, because I journaled a lot, and I still journal, but I don't journal as much as I used to. And it's important to journal, y'all, and write down things. I still write down things, but it's important to journal, and especially write down your dreams or whatever. But I remember like it was yesterday, outside at a lake, sitting on the hill, just having a quiet, a nice time, quiet time by the lake, sitting on the hill. And I can remember the person was in front of me, and they was like, can I actually tell you the truth? Can I actually tell you something and share something with you about yourself? And as I'm sitting down, in my dream, the finger is pointing at me, because in my dream it was something I needed to get, and it's something that I needed to receive. And I could tell I didn't want to hear what my future spouse was saying, but I had to listen. And I could tell, in my dream, I could see my whole demeanor. I could see my whole self. And even though I was ready to listen, I wasn't ready to listen, because I didn't want to hear what they had to say. It's like you kind of already know what a person is going to share with you or tell you. So when they shared with me, things that they know that I needed to improve on, because that person knew me and that person had got to know me, and they was sharing with me something that I needed to improve on. I don't know exactly verbatim, but the whole key was looking at myself and looking at my whole demeanor and getting upset and frustrated and trying to turn my ears off to the creative criticism. When this person loved me, they cared about me, so they were telling me the truth, and they were sharing some things about me that they wanted me to approve upon. And I could tell that I didn't want to hear it, but I kept saying, "Yeah, I hear it. I get that. I understand." But I didn't. And I remember waking up from the dream, and I remember writing it down. And what I needed to get from that was is that I was going to have to accept creative criticism. I have to know when someone is sharing things with me in love. I have to know when someone is communicating with me in love, not to harm me, not to hurt me, but to tell me the truth and nothing but the truth. And it was up to me to receive it the correct way. It's up to me to take that initiative to do better. It's up to me to listen effectively and to marinate on what the person actually just told me of what they think I should do, or what they know I needed to do, or what I needed to improve upon. So it was up to me to marinate on what that person said and not just block it out. And I know sometimes we turn our ear, what I'm saying, away from sometimes our loved ones when we don't want to hear something. We kind of turn our ear and our head away from what we need to listen to, because we feel like a person is tearing us down. But that's our first assumption. Oh, well, they didn't have to say it like that. And the thing about it is that you didn't even listen effectively, and the person didn't even say it in a harmful way. It's just the way that you took it, because you already had your mind made up, and your mind was made up of, well, I didn't want to hear it, and I don't want to listen to it, or I'm not like that, or I don't do that. That's the first thing that we say before we take a step back, marinate, think about ourselves on the inside from day to day, and how we react and how we respond to things. And we need to marinate on the habits that we have. And because some of us don't think that we have any habits, when we do, we all have habits, and we all have had habits that we've had to deal with and get better at and overcome. And so I share that story because it's so profound, and is needed, that even in effective communication, we have to accept the good with the bad, or we have to accept uncomfortable conversations. We have to accept the fact that some conversations are uncomfortable to have, but you talk to your loved one in love, and at the end of the conversation, everything is going to be all good, because everything was spoken in love. And that's how you communicate effectively, because you're expressing your true feelings. You are expressing honesty. You're trusting that that person will listen to you well and hear you well. But you cannot make the other person receive you. That person has to be wise and receive and accept the things about themselves, so they can accept what you are saying. And they have to understand. Understanding comes with communication too. Being able to understand each other, being able to, um, say, hey, that was me, or say, hey, that is me, or saying, hey, I have done that in the past, or whatever. Because it's like the communication don't stop just from that one conversation. The communication continues on and on. You share with people what you're comfortable with. You share with your loved ones what you're uncomfortable with, and you're going to get through that. Um, and like I said, sometimes we don't. We'll say, well, I don't want to hurt that person's feelings, or so forth, or whatnot. And the thing about it is, at the end of the day, some a lot of us is not going to receive everything. A lot of us is going to feel like we've done something wrong, but that's not it. But when you take the initiative to be like, well, let me take a step back, let me marinate on this, let me look at, you know what I'm saying, what he or she was sharing with me. And you know when something is true and you know when something is right, because you get a little offended or you may get, you know, a little upset. And so what I am saying to you all is, um, make sure that you communicate effectively, make sure you listen effectively, make sure you tell the truth, make sure you express your feelings, because true love is not going to let you go. True love is not going to turn away from you. True love is not going to tell you anything wrong. And so we need to understand that. And we need to look at the hearts of others. And also, like I said, continue to have conversations like that, continue to have vital conversations, even when they're uncomfortable. Because when you love someone, you are going to be able to receive what they're saying. And maturity is when you can accept the fact, oh, this is me. And this is something that I need to work on. We all have something that we can work on. We all have something that we can be better at. And so I really do hope this helped someone. It definitely encourages me every time. Like I said, I've been on this love journey, and I've been getting better at communicating too with my loved ones, and so this is helping even in, um, relationships, marriages. It's even helping the singles, family relationships, friendships. It's just getting better, all the way around. So you all, if you have any questions for me, or any comments, or would like to come up and share, feel free to do so. Um, if you catch the replay, please feel free to hashtag replay. Subscribe to our channels. We're on all podcast platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join me here on Wisdom. Join me LinkedIn for any type of one-on-one coaching sessions or group coaching sessions. And I love you all. Thank you all for tuning in, sharing with others, and just thank you all for a great year. And again, I hope you all have a happy holiday. And again, if there's anything that I can help you with, feel free to reach out. But I hope this definitely encourages you all. Thank you for tuning in to the Stay True podcast with your host, Karen Oliver, EP 110, and have a good night.